The next 12 months is going to be wild. Elon states there's going to be massive growth for the next 12 to 18 months. In today's video, we're going to break down why I believe he is absolutely correct. I'm also going to show you the inverse of that. And I'm going to show you much deeper. I'm going to peel back the curtain on how I prepared for this. How did I beat inflation from 2020 to 2024? And how did I position myself in 2025 with the sideways action as everybody ran from crypto? We went in and even deeper. So we have a system that we follow. We focus on cash flow into appreciating assets that beat inflation. When the assets appreciate, we go into protection and then we use leverage on the right side. Remember, there's only interest in the system. You're paying it or you're earning it. The wealthy use debt to become wealthier. The working class and the working poor use debt to take away from their future self. There's no money in the system. So I'm going to show you what Elon said, and I'm going to share with you why I believe that is possible. And I've been saying 2026 is going to be a big year because they're going to lower interest rates. They're going to print as much money as possible. And you're going to see Reaganomics on steroids. So let's first take a look at that tweet. And then I'm going to dive in a lot deeper. And that's my whole narrative in 2026 is I'm going to be going deeper into exactly what I do. I'm going to peel back the curtain. I'm going to show you guys my portfolio. I'm just going to share with you guys so you guys can measure my success. Now, what I'm encouraging you to do through authenticity is to form your own opinion. That's the key to this. We don't need stimulus checks. We need financial literacy. It needs to start with us. Then it needs to be passed down to the youth. That's the only way we're going to get out of this. So here's what's going to happen is the 1%, I promise you, over the next 3 to 4 years is going to become extremely wealthy. And the working class who feel like they're going to get wealthier are actually going to get buried even deeper in the monetary debt trap. And by 2030, the middle class is going to get wiped out, leverage towards technology, moving down to the working poor. Remember, they said you'll own nothing and be happy? Well, we're in 2025 and most people don't own anything and they're pissed off. So you have an opportunity to follow this wave of energy, not price predictions, not hopium, but actual strategy. So this is what Elon posted. And then I'm going to go a little bit deeper into my Capital DR strategy. And then I'm going to show you my financial ecosystem and framework that I've educated over 14,000 people worldwide on. I'm going to peel back the curtain on what I do what I do daily, what I do weekly, and what I do monthly. And I'm going to show you in a chart so it's more tangible. My goal is to give you something to focus on, right? I'll give you some books to read as well. So Elon says double-digit growth is coming the next 12 to 18 months. If applied intelligently, is proxy for economic growth, which should be triple-digit, is possible for the next 5 years. You're going to see more economic growth than you've ever seen in the next 3 years as we go into the next presidential election, okay? You're going to see a lot of growth in first and second quarter as we go into midterms, okay? Trump is not going to lose. He's going to make these markets very, very bullish. So you have to very strategically prepare for this, guys. Markets don't always go up. Here's what I believe is going to happen, and I'm going to state this today, and I'll continue to share this narrative with you guys, is what I believe is going to happen is Bitcoin is going to see a big drop next year. I really, really believe that. I think it had its peak, and I'm very excited about it because I want to buy as much as I can by 2030. I want to accumulate as much as I can by 2030 and beyond, but I have goals for 2030. Okay. I'm going to continue to stack Bitcoin. I buy it, and I'm going to show you my actual ecosystem in detail. But I believe that XRP's year is 2026. I really believe that because we're going into the utility phase, right? I believe utility tokens are going to do very, very well. And the reason why is because we're going into the transition of the banking sector. Okay. We're going in from banks resisting it to banks coming in fast and furious. So I believe things like XRP, XLM, HBAR, all the utility tokens, and people consider ISO tokens, are going to do very, very well in 2026. Just my opinion. I feel like XRP is going to decouple a little bit. It's held its ground very, very well in the sideways action. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is. It is my number one holding. So I'm going to do the 30,000 foot overview of my Capital DR strategy. And then I'm actually going to take you into what I do daily, what I do weekly, what I do monthly in detail. Okay. So this is what I call Capital DR. I invented this strategy. It was invented because I kept getting the shit kicked out of me with inflation. So think about this, guys. You get paid in someone else's debt. This is really important. I just want you to picture interest symbol. Okay. You're paying it or you're earning it. That's it. So once you understand that concept and you picture this big interest symbol in front of you, you want to get out of the paying it side on the personal side and you want to move your money into assets that pay you interest. Okay. That's really important. So you need cash flow. Okay. Because cash is just someone else's debt. That's it. That's all it is. Banks make money in interest income, fee income, and capital markets income. So when you put your income into a bank, they take it and they lend it and they make money off of it. So what you need to do is you need to put yourself in first position. Richest man in Babylon is tried and true. Wisdom of King Solomon, tried and true. So you take your income and you make first fruits. Okay. So you take investing first and then you spend last what's left over. Okay. In America, we spend, then we invest what's left over. We've been trained. So you have to take cash and create income and to create cash flow. Okay. And I'm going to show you exactly what I do here in just a moment. Then I move cash flow into appreciating assets. I'm going to show you that and share with you my exact assets. And then when my assets, you see how this line goes up, when they appreciate, I take some off the table and I protect some. I put it in life insurance. Nobody can touch my life insurance. Okay. Then when everybody goes running, when it comes collapsing down, because it will, we can leverage. Okay. Be very careful on the crypto side. I have zero leverage on the crypto side. I shared with you guys many times how I leverage my Bitcoin, very low leverage, 25% of my overall portfolio. We bought one of our companies. We paid it off already. We only leverage off of an asset that is volatile at very low leverage if we can pay it off very, very quickly. On the insurance side, you're good, man. There's no liquidation risk. That's what we create as a family bank. And then de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper. This is the area of authenticity. I'm going to share with you guys exactly what I do. This is what I teach. Okay, I don't invest people's money. I don't invest for you. I educate people on how to build a system that beats inflation. That's all it is. I don't care what you invest in. I'm always going to share with you what I do, but I want this to conceptually make sense. We have to demystify all this stuff. Everybody's like, oh, you got to get in to be a day trader and you got to do this. Day traders always get wrecked. Always, always. There is no get rich quick. People who follow hype and price predictions get wrecked. People waiting for a token to go to a certain price get wrecked. People who are disciplined, consistent for a long enough period of time end up wealthy. It's that simple. I study Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Kathy Woods, Robert Kiyosaki, anybody who's in the realm of real wealth and really, really building systems. They're calm, they're stoic, and they love the red. Okay, so here's my exact ecosystem. I showed you guys a 30,000 foot overview. We have cash flow into appreciating assets, protection, and leverage. Okay, so if we go a little bit closer here, let's go daily. So we're going to go over this whole eco. So I'm going to go here. See, we got daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly leverage. Okay. So we're going to go here and we're going to look at daily first. Okay. So what do I do daily? Now, this is just an example for me, not financial advice. You got to make your own decisions. Okay. So here's what I actually do. So I dollar cost average every single day. Okay. The best way to get wealthy is to dollar cost average. So every single day, I dollar cost average into Bitcoin and XRP every single day. Okay. I also dollar cost average weekly into American Bitcoin, XXI, Solana. Is those the ones I'm in? I just want to make sure I get everything right here. So every single day, XRP and Bitcoin just automatically comes out of my pound. That's automatic. Okay. So we dollar cost average every single day. So what I'm doing is every day I wake up, my family is getting wealthier. Now it looks like this in the short term, but in the long term, it's been like this. Okay. My XRP went up when Trump got elected 800%. My overall portfolio is up almost 400% since 2020. So you lost 24% purchasing power. We gained almost 400% on our money. Does that make sense? Okay. Then if we look at weekly, what I do is I transmute cash flow. Okay. So when I get cash flow back from my companies on Wednesdays and Fridays, now it's Mondays, we switched it up. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, I get my dividend payments from my cash generating dividends. Wednesday, I get income from one of my companies, one of my ecosystems, and then another payment on Friday. So I have 3 different payments coming in. It took me years. I've been doing this since 2017. So I have income coming from my businesses and income coming from cash generating dividends. Okay. So when I have cash flow back from my companies on Wednesdays and Fridays, I immediately transmute it. I move from inflationary fiat cash into deflationary assets like Bitcoin and dividend paying ETFs. It gives me a pay raise over time. So every week I'm giving myself a pay raise. The goal is simple. I escape the broken fiat system and I build a foundation that grows and pays me. So every single week, my family's getting a pay raise. Okay. So I invest first and then I spend last. Another caveat that I put in place is as my wealth grew, I mean, I went from having nothing to making about $10,000 a month. And then our income increased. I took my crypto profits. We scaled businesses. We did everything we're supposed to do. And we created multiple streams of income. And we got into dividend stocks and we just kept compounding. We didn't do lifestyle creep. So what we do is when our lifestyle changes, so as you see my lifestyle change, it's still the same percentage to my overall income. Does that make sense? So when I first got off my parents' couch, I moved into an apartment. My apartment was relative to my income. I invested first, I spent last. Then when my income went up, I bought a small single family home for my family. When in that home, it was still 15% of my overall income. As my income increased, I kept that model. Then I just made some real estate moves. I short-term rented my primary residence, and then I moved into another residence, and we're doing some tax moves with that. And so that's still 15% of my overall income. I have more money going into investments now than I made in 2021. So my income in 2021 is now how much I invest. And it was done by discipline. This is how I did it. Okay. Because I built a system. I'm not waiting for price predictions. I'm not waiting for hopium. I'm building systems. Okay. So we got that. So we dollar cost average every day. Weekly, anything outside of debts and non-negotiables goes into assets. So I have money on the sidelines too. Okay. Just in case there's a pullback in the market. So I absolutely love red. So when it goes red, I buy more Bitcoin. I buy more XRP. I buy more XXI, American Bitcoin, WLFI. I'm stacking my top cryptos. Okay. So let's back up. Dollar cost average every day, weekly. And this is discipline, guys. Every single week I do this. Every single week I buy more cash generating dividends. My dividends come in and I buy more assets like XRP and Bitcoin. So my income is always going back into assets A, which is right here, appreciation. Then we got monthly. Okay. Every single month, I pump money into my premiums. Okay. Every single month, I pump money into my premiums. So I consistently fund my insurance contracts to grow my family bank and hold cash patiently for market pullbacks. When dividends are paid, I shift tax profits into deflationary assets like Bitcoin and long term investments. Okay. So this is monthly. So every single month, every single week, my dividends are paid. I pump it back into assets. Does that make sense? Now, you're seeing this, okay? And I see this over time. If I stored all this money in the US dollar, it's going like this, but you see $1 million in your bank account, it's actually going like this. But the trick is you see a number of $1 million in your bank account. You can't see the inflation that's eroding your buying power, the silent taxation. Okay. Mine looks like this, but I'm over time compounding my wealth. Okay. So now we have the protection component. So we keep every single month, we keep adding money into our family bank. We keep adding money in creating more cash flow through dividends. We keep increasing our asset base. Okay. So now we start to compound. So it started really small and then it started to compound. Okay. Then quarterly, okay, we'll go into this right here. Quarterly, what I do is I review and position. I meet with my team, we review tax strategies. We're always planning how to mitigate taxes, defer liabilities, and reposition into appreciating cash flowing assets like real estate. I just made some real estate moves, foundational investments, or additional business acquisitions. The goal, lower taxable income, buy back time, and create a future cash flow. So every single year, I buy back more time. Okay, so I just made some real estate moves, a short-term rental. I moved into another primary residence. We're doing some moves there. I invested into a Orange Grove in Florida, which gave a 506C or 506B, 506C, 506C, which gave me some massive depreciation off my taxes. I also have over my ecosystem as I have a trust. We have LLCs, we have S Corps, we have the Wyoming LLC set up. So we have the whole ecosystem set up. Okay. Then over here, you see leverage. Okay. Now, leverage is really, really important. Leverage is, if done correctly, can make you very, very wealthy, but also leverage can make you poor. So, with leverage through my insurance, I built a family banking system that grows tax free and protects my generational wealth. Okay. I complement it with Bitcoin, a deflationary asset that's a store of value and gives me borrowing power. Okay. I want to make that very, very clear around this. Let me go back to leverage really quick. Okay. So, on my Bitcoin, bring you guys on my screen so I want you to look into your eyes when I say this. On my Bitcoin, very important. These people preaching to you, just leverage your crypto, leverage. Don't do it, guys. It is way too volatile. 2025 was the greatest example of that. I know so many people and influencers that got wrecked. They lost all their wealth on 2025. Okay. We did one big leverage move on Bitcoin. I'm never touching my Bitcoin. What we did was is we bought one of our companies by using our own bank. Okay. So I went to my Bitcoin, I moved it to Salt, which is a DeFi platform. After KYC, I had my money like this. Okay. So they take we say you needed $700,000. You throw $1 million on Salt, they give you 70% LTV, loan to value. You take the $700,000, you buy the company. Okay. They was at 14%. People are like, oh my God, that's 14%. But here's the caveat. Okay. We did the math. It's like, well, at 14%, Bitcoin grows 50% every single year. We're buying something that is already creating cash flow that can pay it off very, very quickly. Our goal is to pay it off in 12 months. So I have 14% on something that grows 50% every year. I'm borrowing from my own bank. I still own the Bitcoin and it's tax-free money because the loans are tax-free. So I bought the business. We paid it off actually in 6 months. Okay. So that's zero leverage on my crypto. And because it's been so volatile, we have zero leverage on our cryptocurrency. On the insurance side, the beauty behind it is you have no liquidation risk. You borrow from the insurance company and you don't have to pay it back. It comes off your death benefit. We do pay it back, right? We want to pay those things back, but we only borrow. This is really important if we're going to buy something like a dividend that pays us cash to pay the loan back, gives us free income, or an asset that's going to grow over time. An example of that, okay? There's always going to be a market collapse. I'm hoping for another big red market, another big bear market, so I can accumulate way more before the big transition as crypto becomes completely solidified in the banking system by 2030, is when everybody runs and freaks out. We're like, yes, because we profited, we pulled profits and we stuffed it into our insurance. So let me go into that really quickly. Let's go back. Let me give you a good picture of this real quick, okay? I just want to be as clear as possible around this, okay? This is the de-risking part. So when my assets go up, I ladder out using Merlin, okay? I ladder out. Bitcoin, we're not going to touch. It's leverage, okay? We're going to continue to grow that bank. I ladder out very calmly on the way up, okay? Everybody's trying to catch the top, get rich. I pull first, 10% goes into cash generating dividends. So say I pull 3 million, 10%, 300,000 will go into cash generating dividends to create what? A brother or sister. The next will be max fund policies. And there's MIC rules on that. So there's a certain amount, there's an exact amount that I need to max fund to my policies right now. So when it goes where I think it's going to go, I'm going to max fund those policies. Okay. So I created cash flow, created a brother or sister. I put money into a life insurance policy, which creates leverage. Okay. Richest man in Babylon. Now I can borrow again to create more brothers or sisters. I put the rest into a stable coin. Okay. And I wait for market pullbacks because it's sitting in cash, which is absolute trash. So I'll put it in a stable coin where I can earn interest. So I'm making income off of my dividends. I created assets that created income. I put money into my insurance, which protects my principal from market losses. Now I have leverage so I can calmly wait for the markets to come back. And I have stable coins that are paying me interest. So now I'm making money here. I'm making money here. I'm making money here. And then when the markets come collapsing down, boom, we calmly leverage and we go back in and we buy the fear. And then we let it recycle again. That's capital DR. That's the system. The beautiful thing about it, guys, is you don't have to invest in XRP. You don't have to invest in Bitcoin. What you have to do is figure out from your level of understanding and zone of competence is which asset class is going to beat inflation. Because the fact is, you're either paying the debt or you're earning the interest on the debt. That's it. So take all the emotion out of this. Take the tribalism out of Bitcoin, tribalism out of XRP, tribalism out of gold. When I see people like gold bugs, like XRP or Bitcoin, it's like, okay, cool, invest in your gold. Whatever you think is going to beat inflation. That's what we need to teach our kids. So that's all I do. Every single time I get paid, today is Friday. I got paid today. So after this video, I'm going to be sitting down. I'm going to be looking at the markets. I'm going to be seeing where my assets are and my allocations and my percentages. And I'm calmly going to buy some more assets. That's it. And it's liquid. If I need it, I can grab it, right? I could do some tax harvesting if I want to. The point of all this is taking the control into your own hands, taking sovereignty of your wealth. Okay. We're out of the era of blind leadership where you just walk into a bank and say, here's my money. I hope that I can retire. And I hope that Social Security will supplement my income. Guys, you're putting your money into a 401k. Say you get 10%. Fantastic. And you work for 40 years at 2 to 3% inflation. Your money gets cut in half every 35 years. So you're making 10% on your 401k. Your money got cut in half halfway through your career, or a little bit, three quarters in your career, and then you retire, and then you can't touch that 401k. Then when you pull it out at retirement, you get taxed on that money at the going tax rate. And you have inflation that eroded the buying power. So you actually didn't get ahead, you actually went backwards. And now you retire with $1 million and your asset manager's like, I'm going to get you 4 to 6%. Okay, let's say they give you 8%. Fantastic. You have $1 million at 8%. And in your job, you were making $110,000. But now you retire with $1 million at 8%, and you're only making $80,000 in retirement income. And so you have to downsize. You worked your whole life. And now you have to go backwards in your lifestyle when you're supposed to be retiring and living life, as inflation is kicking the living shit out of you. Do you see what I'm saying? We just have to get ourselves on the right side of the quadrant. And it's going to take discipline. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take a system. It's not going to take the next best crypto, the next best NVIDIA stock or XRP to 580. That's not what it's going to take. Now, are there assets that we can do very well with? Yes, my top holdings are XRP. It's changed our life. When Trump got elected, I mean, it went up 800%. Okay. Bitcoin, that's my number two. These two are by a long shot, company and personal, excuse me. Then WLFI is my number three now. That's World Liberty Financial. Solana's number four for me. HBAR, XLM, and VChain. Those are my top seven. I'm going to be consolidating most of my cryptos into my top four, which would be XRP, Bitcoin, WFI, and Solana. On the stock side, ABTC, American Bitcoin, Bitcoin Treasury and the shovels, picks and shovels, XXI, which is a Bitcoin Treasury, which is number three, which is connected to Cantor Howard Lutnick. I'm setting up my portfolio based on the people that are writing the rules for this temporary time. It will shift as economics shift. It'll shift as a new president comes in. You have to pay attention to microeconomics, not emotion. So those are my assets. My dividend stocks, there's tier one, tier two, tier three that we created and we invented in regards to our own capacity of discipline and consistency and mastery of the markets. There's tier one, which are like high risk, high return option dividend stocks. Okay. I like to play in that realm, but I de-risk every single month into Bitcoin and XRP. There's tier two, which you could look at Michael Saylor's. There's like Stretch, Strife. I can't remember the other Stretch, Strife. They have all these. So these are like Stretch is a dividend stock. You put in $1 million, you're making 10%. That's $100,000 a year. And then you have less NAV erosion, right? So you got dividend stocks, okay, things like that. Very, very important to understand is that you need to de-risk the cash flow into something like gold, silver, XRP, Bitcoin, a stock that is going to be here. And then what you do is you continue to build out your ecosystem. Okay. And then we use insurance to protect our wealth. Now, the key with insurance, this is really important. This is why the insurance industry gets a really bad rap. Is number one, they're not structured properly. Number two, you need to fund them properly. Okay. There's a responsibility on the agent and the client, right? They sound sexy. People are selling them in these magical retirement policies. They're insurance. That's what they are. They're insurance. They have costume insurance. They're phenomenal tools if they're used properly. They have permanent life insurance. Okay. Yeah, the family banking component, but you have to fund it properly. And so your agent needs to structure it properly. You need to put money in it or it sucks. It's a really bad situation if you don't put money in them, if you don't fund them properly. Okay. So make sure they're structured properly. Make sure you're putting money in them and make sure you understand how to leverage them properly. Okay. They're not some magic money machine. It takes time. It takes time to compound. The more cash you can get into them, the better off you do. The more you leverage it to buy assets, the better off you do. That's the family banking concept. Then make sure that you de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. There's no emotion in this for me. When these assets go up, I de-risk. I get some money off the table and I put it into things that are foundational, like insurance. Then I protect my family with a trust, LLCs, the whole ecosystem. So I hope this helps. I know that was a longer video, but I've just really thought about my goals and what I would like for my channel. I'm not looking for the hype. I'm not looking for the hopium. I'm not looking for, the likes and comments. I'm looking to build financial literacy and education for people. That's what I'm looking to do. And I think the only way to do that is to be fully transparent and authentic with you guys on exactly what I do. Am I going to win all the time? Absolutely not. Is it a risk for me putting out there exactly what I'm doing? Some would say, I don't think so, but some would say it is, because you're going to see my wins and you're going to see my losses. But I'd rather you see me trying and putting effort in to fix this for myself and my family and my ecosystem. So I hope this information reaches your heart well. There's tons of resources down below in my YouTube description. You can join our academy, or you can watch my free stuff on my YouTube channel. We have a whole free education section where I break this down even deeper. But that's the area that we're heading into in 2026. No hype, no price predictions, no hopium. It's just real deal. Here's what I'm doing. Let's learn together. Let's grow together, and let's kick some ass together. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.